Anybody can have that connection if they're open to that connection. And I think that it's vital to our spirituality. When I'm on the land, I become a whole person again. My whole inner being becomes at peace with everything, and I feel like I am connected again.
Wilderness it brings harmony. It brings serenity, the peace we all look for. You can just listen to the river and you hear yourself. You can hear your own self echo inside.
Despite the rigors of wilderness travel, motors are forbidden, even bicycles. People of varying abilities visit these special places for renewal and respite from our technological world, seeking a more intimate contact with their surroundings. Many people grow through the challenge offered by living for a time, whether a few hours or a few weeks, without the machines that insulate us from our environment.
I've been disabled since infancy and walk with a leg brace and a cane. Over time, it's become harder for me to walk. And now the way I get into wilderness is either by horseback, by canoe or raft, or walking a short distance into the wilderness, which also is a wonderful experience for me still. The value of wilderness to me hasn't changed at all as my disability has progressed, because the things that I always valued in wilderness, those interests and needs haven't changed at all for me.
Interact Center is a theater and a visual arts gallery, and it's also a day program for adults with disability labels. We noticed several changes in our participants from coming out into the wilderness. One change we found was that they discovered something about themselves, that they were capable of going beyond the barriers that people have placed on them.
At the moment, I'm living at a halfway house, and I've been there since September 20th, year 2002, so I've been there for a while. And oh my goodness, I used to like, I think I've never been scared the whole day, but part of the day I used to get scared, being kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The trees are so like innocent, they aren't harmful to you or anything, nothing to be scared of. It's very peaceful. I'm not as scared, and not as long as I used to, and it really helps.
Today the sun is shining, how it lights the snow up, how the sun shines through the trees and the snow actually sparkles. And I'm at peace. I want that to be here for someone else to be able to sit back and look up and say, this is mine. Just for today, this is mine. When I come back last night, I hurt so bad I wanted to cry, but I felt so good I wanted to just scream. And it was a combination of both feelings at the same time. You got pain, okay, fine, you got pain all the time, but are you this happy with it? No, you're not. So this little excursion up here says, well, hey, your life is going to be better. Go ahead and do it. Go for it. And so that's what I'm doing, going for it.
For many Americans, wilderness is so important to their lives that it's an essential part of the legacy that they wish to leave behind. For some, this means passing these protected areas and a love for them onto their children and grandchildren. Others communicate an infectious love of wilderness through their life's work.
I wanted to write when I was in 3rd grade, and I wrote about many things, but the things I wrote best about were the wild animals and the outdoors and young people interacting with nature, and I've been doing that ever since. This is my side of the mountain that won the Newbery honor, and Julie of the Wolves I wrote after I had spent a summer in the Arctic at the Naval Arctic Research Lab studying the wolf. I want to save the places where all the unique plants and animals are. Even if I never go there, I'll never go to some of these wonderful wildernesses, but I want to know they're there. And I think most people do. And I think I would ache. We can't lose our wilderness.
A lot of our tribal people who support the idea of wilderness, they may have not visited this area for years. Maybe the last time they were back here in the missions were when they were very young. These places are there for not only ourselves, but we want to protect this area for our future generations. I want to be able to say when I leave this place that it's better than when I got here.
I have a 5-year-old daughter, and the kind of legacy that I'd like to leave for her is one which includes wild lands intact. When she's 40 or 50 years old, to take her kids into the same place and have it be not unchanged, because it always changes, but for it to be still wild.
Every one of us are going to have to take a stand and say, for my children, I'm going to protect this area. I'm going to stand and protect this area. And as we do this, we are going to give life to our future generations. We don't do this for ourselves. We do this for all humankind. I live here, I work here, but I do care about what happens in Arizona, or what happens in Montana, what happens in the Everglades, because that's going to impact my children. And so I have to care. We all have to care.
In the first 40 years since it passed the Wilderness Act, Congress has placed 105 million acres in the National Wilderness Preservation System. Deserts, forests, swamps, mountains, and lake country have been designated. And all but 6 states have federal wilderness areas in them. So far, about 15% of Alaska and less than 3% of our lower 49 states have been preserved. What will the next 40 years bring to these increasingly precious lands? What will we Americans pass on to our children? That is up to you. Well, it's been a while since I've been in a wilderness. It might take a bit longer before I do get to go back to one. But even if that never happens, I will always value the wilderness as much as I always have. I'm Christopher Reeve. Thank you so much for watching.